Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Them bones be rattling and them ghosts be haunting. We have the followers of Nagash against the Vampire Coast. We have Legion leading the Tomb King forces, and we have Zakastyle is going to be leading the Vampire Coast. So we have an undead matchup in this spooky month of October. So for the followers of Nagash, we have quite the heavy load of Vampire Counts units here, as they do get access to a few of those units. We have a couple Hex Wraiths, and we have 4 of the Dire Wolves, and then we have 3 Carrions up in the sky, though those are Tomb King troops there. And then for the infantry department, we do have 3 skeleton warriors, we have some skeleton spearmen on the far flanks, and the tomb guard in the back as the heavy hitters for that infantry department, and they will be led by Arkin the Black. And as you can see, he will be bringing Spirit Leech, Fate of Buna, the Libra Mortis, the Tomb Blade of Arkin, and the Staff of Nagash. So those are our Tomb King forces, as they look to have quite a bit of mobility to help shut down all those guns as quick as they can, and we'll see how well they're able to do that. Now for the Vampire Coast, who are already being pressured by these Dire Wolves, who I don't even know if they realize they have already sprung their trap, we have quite a lot of troops here. We have a bunch of zombie pirate deckhand mobs with pole arms. We have 3 in the front, and then we have a couple in the back as well, and then we have handguns all across the formation, as well as we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back line. Actually a 5th unit right here as well. We have 2 mortars, which are quickly going to be eaten by those doggos, and I don't think there can be any saving them. We also have 2 deck gunners, one of which being the Shade Wraith gunners. A very good choice here, very little forms of magic damage, with the exception of that Spirit Leash. And we have the Count Noctilus leading the forces on his Necrofex, bringing Raise Dead, Invocation of Heck. We also have Wind of Death, and we have Wraithstorm and Captain's Wrath Moondial, and that will be our forces as we get the show on the road, as these mortars are already very quickly being shut down by these Dire Wolves, already paying for themselves. They will stick in that engagement and make sure those mortars are off the field for as long as possible. The other 2 units getting on top of these handgun units, though one of them probably should swing around and try and shut down that other unit, though these bombers have turned and started just absolutely opening up on them. Here comes another volley, doing a ton of damage, though that handgun unit already does go down. The Hex Wraith's going to quickly get on into things as they do shut down these bomber units as well, and this handgun unit going to be going the way of its brethren very quickly. So all of this chaos has quickly overwhelmed the gun line of the Vampire Coast, as they did not expect quite the rush. This is a very small map, so it does favor that playstyle a little bit. Coast, I would say, struggles a little bit with this small of a playstyle, but they do have a bunch of units to help with that within the form of the bombers. But now the Tomb King infantry department are already going to be engaging the very devastated lines of the Vampire Coast, though the balance of power is still very even. Though if all of these guns keep getting shut down, that will surely change, as some Carrion are going to be dropping down onto some more of the handgun units, and the Dire Wolves are slowly being whittled down, but they have already paid for themselves and then some. The front line of the infantry department of the Skeleton Warriors are just kind of sitting in the forefront. They really should be getting engaged, as a lot of these Hex Wraiths are going down, and the Carrions will not hold forever. They will delay, but they will lose to those handgun units. As you can see, this back unit is just engaged in melee with these 2 handguns, and it is losing considerably. It is just a delay tool. It will not kill them. Unlike the Dire Wolves, on the other hand, who will completely just chew through those gun lines very fast. But a nice little Wraithstorm going down, not doing a whole lot of damage, but looks like we have a Wind of Death is going to be just roasting right through the lines. Just going to be missing the lines a little bit. Had that been just a few meters farther in, that would have devastated 3 units of Skeleton Warriors. But they are able to kind of avoid that damage for the most part. Just 1 unit, I think, getting lightly clipped. But right now, Arkin's going to be engaging in melee, trying to recharge his summon a little bit. but some more units are going to be going down as we actually have a Shopty summon in the back line, going right into these handgun units, looking to shut them down for good. And at this point, things are looking very bleak for the Vampire Coast. I do not know how it is still even balance of power, though I think Noctilus is a big factor there. We have plenty of Tomb Guard here, and I think these Tomb Guard would do well, as they are going to be moving straight in to this backline engagement as these two handgun units continue to be shut down by those Spearmen and Ushapti summons. But yeah, things not looking so hot for the Vampire Coast. Again, it's the balance of power dead even right now, but all of the handguns, all of the bombers are pretty much offline. I think the only thing really left is Count Noctilus. We still have a very, very healthy Arc in the black, who should just be able to Spirit Leech things. He does have a Liber Mortis going down right on his entire core infantry units right here, as the X-Rays will be cycling their way around, looking to kind of finish off all of the chaff units that Count Noctilus is using to defend himself, and the rest of the units are slowly whittling away as the X-Rays are just going to be bouncing to and fro, just getting cycle charges everywhere that they can. It looks like we have another Wraith Storm going to be dropping down into these Skeleton Spearmen, as it will just kind of take out a few of its models, though I think those shots may have been a little bit better used on Arkan himself. But yeah, Noctilus, I mean, even though the Tomb Kings have pretty much devastated everything else, they don't really have a lot of good tools to deal with Noctilus. I think, especially with the Tomb Guard that are left, I think that'll be more than enough to deal with Count Noctilus himself. He does have some decent splash damage on his Necrofex, as you can see, just kind of absolutely kind of nuking that area right now. He does get a Captain's Wrath Moondial summon off into the middle of things, helping to muck things up. But things are not looking so hot for him. Arkan just needs to kind of be a little cautious, doesn't want to be getting too close. Engaging with the zombie pirate deckhand mobs is exactly what he wants to be doing. Recharging that summons there, as we do have the Liber Mortis is going to be recharging, or going to be going down on top of all of these units. And yeah, Noctilus is just going to be getting dragged through the mud. Balance power still surprisingly even, just going to show how strong Noctilus is on that balance. Though all of these units, we have Tomb Guard though, 2 units of Tomb Guard, here's the third, and they're all very, very healthy, and I do not anticipate there is any way that Noctilus is going to be able to drag his way out of this. He does have Wind of Death though. That is a factor that we have seen one of those casts, and if he is saving his Winds of Magic, he can just probably just roast through so many of these Tomb King forces if the Tomb Kings are not aware, and it looks like they're just going all in right now, and that could very well prove to be their undoing, as we do have another Hex Wraith going to be going right into the middle of things with all these units this blobbed up. That actually could prove to be fairly helpful. Some shots, they do not actually clip Noctilus, which is good. They was fired a little close to him, but a nice little shot right through the middle here could do so much work. We do have a Spirit Leech going down, though, on Count Noctilus, which will help whittle him down, and we do have Arkan right engaged in the foot. However, that is very, very dangerous, though. Noctilus not very good at shooting at very small targets that are right up at close to him, so Arkan won't be taking too much damage, but I'm just waiting for that Wind of Death. I'm just like, I anticipate there's going to be a nice little cast going through here. I haven't seen a whole lot of Winds of Magic being cast by Noctilus. I don't think we've really seen too many of his summons cast, but Noctilus is just going to be wading through all these things, and yeah, especially the Tomb Guard here will be able to deal with Count Noctilus fairly, fairly well, and Arkan is just going to be kind of cackling away, nipping at his heels. And it does look like potentially that the Winds of Magic for the Vampire Coast is kind of depleted right now. We do get a summon from, actually this is from the Necrofex himself, not so much one of Noctilus's spells or abilities, as these Zombie Pirate Deckhand mobs do kind of drop into the middle here, though in bounce power overwhelmingly in the favor of the Tomb Kings, and they will be winning here as Count Noctilus does finally disintegrate at long last, and that will be our match as the Tomb Kings do take it. So take a look at the after battle report. The breadwinners here were those direwolves just shutting down so many units so quickly for the Vampire Coast, especially the two mortars getting right into the bombers. I mean, these Shade Wraith gunners and the deck droppers doing so little in what they got. A lot of chevrons being put into the deck gunners earlier on, but they were not able to pay for themselves, really expecting some maybe larger constructs on the field to have some good targets against. But all these handguns just a lot of them getting shut down super early by these carrion. And as I said before, the carrion will not win that engagement, though they just delay the handguns. The carrion just pretty much keep them from firing and wait for some of the other chaff units, or like for the direwolves, for instance, to kind of get into them and really do the damage. The X-Wraiths doing some decent work themselves, maybe not for their cost, but shutting down the guns is a benefit all to themselves, because those handgun units are, if they're able to fire for the whole match, their value will be immense. But yeah, Tomb Guard coming in the late game to really deal with Noctilus, and Garkin just kind of sustaining throughout the match. I actually really like this Tomb King build. Really kind of can throw your opponent for a loop, but it is only for the followers of Nagash, because only they get access to the Direwolves and the Hex Wraiths. And then for the Vampire Coast army, I mean, it was a decent army. There's not a whole lot wrong. I think maybe for this size of a map, that's not quite the army you're looking for. Maybe drop the mortars and maybe go for a little bit more protection. Maybe some Morghuls in there, something of that nature. I think it was just too long range a build for the size of the map. But otherwise, it was a very fun match. A little surprise by Legion for Zaka style, and it did pay off quite well. And that will be our video for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a good one.